Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the badass business coach. Thanks for being here and listening and sharing this podcast with others. And again, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and my Facebook page, Badass Business Coach. And if you're new here, message me, tell me where you are listening from so I can give you a shout out. All right, so last Monday's podcast, hopefully you listened to it, was about avoiding burnout, making sure you're taking care of yourself, taking time off to give yourself that mental break, and all in all, just not working yourself into a state of being sick and tired. We've all done it. We've all waited until we've gotten sick to take time off, and then you're in burnout, and it's such a huge aha moment. You'll think back and realize, oh, I just worked 60 hours in 4 days, like my daughter just did. Or remember that you haven't felt 100%, but you just had to get shit done, right? We see the signs, but we just don't pay attention to them. And in the end, it just causes you more stress as you lay there exhausted, maybe sick, and think of all the shit you need to do. And it's just so much easier to pace yourself, but yes, easier said than done, right? To keep up with your healthier habits, whether you're working out or reading or eating right or just taking those mental breaks, no matter what they are. And don't worry, yes, I still have done it. I still indulge in pizza and tacos and don't work out right or don't give myself the mental break. But it just depends. And like I mentioned in last week's podcast, the week before, I talked to 3 people that were just burned out and sick and tired. Well, and last week, I was off schedule with my workouts, and by Friday, I could tell. I was antsy and just exhausted and just not really sure what I wanted to do. I was uncertain about the workout I wanted to do. And when I said to the man candy, due to this crappy weather, I'm just going to go to the gym. And he could tell by my tone. He's like, is that really what you want to do? And I go, no, I want to run, but it's shitty out. Well, that voice of reason from him was like, well, then just go run. Okay, so I did. It was windy as hell. It was misting. Then it started raining. And it was a slow run, but I did it. And I ran half on the paved path and the second half back on the beach barefoot, which always makes me happy. And, I didn't want to do it, but I did. And because of that, my day was so much better. I came back happier. Yes, I was a little wet, and it wasn't any sort of record-breaking pace, but it helped me start my morning off on the right foot. I was able to mentally check out for 45 minutes and just relax my mind and think through some things. I was able to be more mentally prepared for some client calls and some decisions about some things I had been putting off. So we've all been there. We've all had to do things we don't want to do, right? And yes, that was a personal choice of mine. But as you've heard me talk about, our personal shit is what affects our professional lives. Had I not, who knows what my attitude would have been like. Would I be mentally as clear for my client calls? I don't know. Probably not, because I was just not in a good space. And as I said, do whatever helps you. I had a friend comment last week that he was going for a hike. Perfect. Others I heard from were going to relax, read a book, get a manicure and a pedicure, and one had just gotten a massage, so it helped her relax. When you're not taking a break and giving yourself time to quote unquote check out, you don't give your mind the opportunity to process things. You're just reacting to things instead of making logical decisions. We've all had stuff we don't want to do. I've talked about making sure it's a good use of your time, but many times we're all doing many things that we don't want to because we have to. We don't have the staff or someone else to help us. It just makes sense for you to do it. But do you really want to? I don't want to, right? Well, when you give yourself time away, you get clarity. You're more rested, relaxed, and able to handle that shit show that life and business can sometimes be. You can think through tough decisions, be creative, and you will be more productive. So yes, I'm kind of repeating myself from last week. You've got to give yourself that time off, that mental break. So what things have you been putting off because you don't want to do them? Or maybe they just feel heavy and they're weighing on your mind. Many industries, especially realtors, I've talked to so many realtors that rely on making follow-up calls or just cold calls, but the phone feels so heavy. And then when they do it, it wasn't that hard. A few, probably months ago, I talked about a realtor that was like, she finally picked up the phone, started making the calls, and got 2 or 3 customers out of it. You know, what other tough conversations do you need to have with a client or a friend or a staff person, business partner, or perhaps your boss? What about that customer that left a nasty voicemail or email or perhaps a Google review that you need to talk through and see what happened? Perhaps you are taking a class or taking a test and you're just mentally exhausted. And what about making a business decision, career or personal life decision that's just weighing on your mind and you don't want to do it? I'll say it again. If you're burned out or just mentally exhausted, you're more than likely not going to be able to handle important decisions. You're not going to be as productive to do the things you really don't want to do. I didn't want to clean that damn cat box this morning, but I did. When I finally sucked it up and went for that run in the rain, I released all that anxiety and anxiousness, and I was mentally more prepared and open to think clearly about things, to be prepared for my clients, and to make a decision about a tough conversation I had needed to have, but I have been avoiding for lack of clarity on what to say and how to handle the situation. So today and this week, I want to know about things you didn't or don't want to do, or just can't think through because they're weighing heavy on your mind and you just haven't been giving yourself enough time off or doing something like a run or a hike or a massage or just checking out to make that clarity, get that mental clarity and make that decision, or to do the things you don't want to do. So I look forward to hearing from you. It's going to be a week of clearing your mind and being prepared. So I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to email me, sandy@sandyballard.com, Sandy with an I, or post on comments on the social media, direct message me if you need help talking through things. As always, I give a free 30-minute consultation and we'll just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Or feel free to message me and we'll schedule a full one. Because I want to make sure you are doing what you need to do so you can make the decisions you need to make. Have a great week. Cheers.